All right. Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your engines!
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Remember what I told all my drivers? Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Drivers, start your engines!
And gentlemen, start your engines!
And welcome back to the Green White Checkered Podcast. I am Andrew. Shane is on vacation this week, so I am joined with Joe Winkle, FFSQC podcast host. Joe, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, listen, I'm excited to be here. I am joined by my trusty partner, Bob Ross. We are going to paint some magic here this evening. But yeah, I host, when I'm actually active. If DJ finds this, he's going to scream at me that this is the first show that I've done in like a month, it feels like, because I've been so busy and starting a new job. But I host the Educated Ignorance podcast. Basketball and football, we talk a bunch about that, and then the new show that I've started, soft launch, that I'm going to really get into over the summer, once I kind of get my life sorted out, is Burdened by the Bear. We created a YouTube channel, so if you're a Bears fan, or if you just, you're a Packers fan, I believe, so you can just go there and you can laugh at me for all of my sadness if that incurs. So those are the two shows that I steam up. But yeah, big part of this, and I'm excited to be here today. I adore your guys' intro, man. When you get a shot of McConaughey in the leather jacket, giving the command to start engines. Command. Good golly, Miss Molly. I'm ready to rock.
Yes, sir. So you mentioned the Bears. How are you feeling about your draft picks? You got Loveland in the first, and then who's the wide receiver you got? Kid out of Missouri.
It's funny because I start a show called Burdened by the Bear, and then the Bears draft Luther Burden from the Missouri Tigers. Okay. Yeah. Yep. I like it. I like what they did. I wish they would have went a little more off beefy at times in some spots. I'm shocked that they decided to not draft a running back until the 7th round. But I like the Loveland pick. I was happy with him or Warren in that spot. And I like the Burden pick because Keenan Allen is gone, so they need a third receiver. And I thought it also sent a message to DJ Moore. I think there's been a lot of good insider baseball there with Ben Johnson telling DJ Moore to stop being a diva. So all in all, though, I'm excited. I'm excited for the season coming up. There's a lot of stuff to get to before then, but when we get there, I will be ready to roll.
I was a Burden fan. I liked his tape. I think he got a lot more hate than he deserved because of his quarterback play in his final year in college. But I think he's going to be a good gadget guy for you guys for a year. And I think you could learn a lot from DJ Moore. So good spot for him.
Yeah, I think the quarterback play at Missouri was a disaster. But regardless, yeah. We'll be hoping everything goes well. Well, or people will get to watch me descend into psychosis.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I hope it goes terribly for you guys. But, I like the Bears as far as like offensive weapons. You guys got a decent team. But we're not a football show. We're a racing show. We're going to hop in. We're going to get to the all-star race that just happened this past weekend in North Wilkesboro. Christopher Bell wins, but it's overshadowed because he won with the whole Michael Waltrip can throw a caution at any time he wants thing. So Joey Logano dominated the race, pretty much had it in the bag, but this new rule where they could just throw one caution anytime they wanted, comes out with like 30 to go. Christopher Bell kind of moves Logano out of the way, steals the win. Logano, not too happy about it. Cries after the race. It's a gimmick, blah, blah, blah. How are you feeling about this? What did you think of the race overall? The on-track action?
From the stuff that I saw, I thought the racing was good. I thought from everything that I could tell, it seemed like this was the first short track race that was as good as it was. I think I've liked some of the things that they've tried to do, right? Like I thought they made the Phoenix race this year really good because of the tires. Last year they tried it in the Bristol's what would that be? The Bristol Spring race. They tried the tires and it kind of made things interesting. And then to my knowledge, they didn't do it in the playoff race, or wasn't in the playoffs last year. It was right before the playoffs, right? And
Yeah,
it
so the,
and
the
it
spring
sucked. The
race,
fall race was terrible.
yeah, the spring race, there was a tire fiasco where they don't know really what happened. It was cold and tires were just kind of wearing out and blowing up for no reason. They tried to recreate it throughout the season and never could. But they did introduce like a softer tire because of it. Um, but yeah, no, the racing this weekend at North Wilkesboro is probably one of the better short track races we've seen with this new car. Kind of gives us hope for short track races. Like you said, Phoenix is actually decent for being Phoenix, not the best track on the schedule, but it put on an okay show. So
And like last year, I thought Richmond was pretty good. And that was a race where they did the tire thing. It was
yep.
good until it was good for 399 technical laps, and then Austin Dillon decided to become the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
He Leroy Jenkins did. But regardless, I say all that to say they're trying things, and I'm sure one of the things you'll end up bringing up is if talking about should this be a points race, and I'm sure we'll have a good discussion about that. But yeah, all in all, I think it seemed like it was a win. And the racing was more intriguing than it has been at these racetracks, considering the short track aspect of this car, which nobody really likes. They've nailed certain aspects, but the short tracks, unfortunately, is one that's really taken a backseat.
Yep. Yeah, it's just one of those things. And yeah, it is the final year of North Wilkesboro being the all-star race. Viewership kind of showed that people just weren't interested. I have to say, everybody I talked to, not interested in really watching the all-star race. I don't think the gimmick thing helped with people wanting to watch it. I think most diehard fans want to get away from that and just the natural racing. But yeah, how about that? What do you think? Do you think they're going to add it as a points race? I mean, we thought, years ago that North Wilkesboro was done. We'll never see a race there again. And here we are 3 years into all-star races there.
I would love to see it now because I think if the racing can continue to be good, they repaved it after the first year. So going into the second year of the All-Star race, it was repaved. Plus you add more cars. They ran 20 something in the All-Star race. You add the 38 or 40 or whatever it is for a regular points race. There'll be more traffic. It can get, there are more things that can happen there. So I think it's definitely warranted. The question obviously would be what date it would take up. I heard a guy talk about how you only have the one exhibition race at the beginning of the year, and you add just this week as a points race as well, and you have 37. Which, hey, that would be something. I wouldn't hate it. Maybe they find a date that nobody likes and they can switch it there. I'm sure eventually they probably want to put Rockingham back on the schedule if everything works out with how it's this year. They had the trucks and the Xfinity cars there. So all in all, I do hope eventually it gets a points race because I think it's deserving. And I also think less races that are, I think less races that mean nothing are for the good. And I think you should probably do a class. You should combine the Clash and the All-Star race. You only need really one of those a year, I think. And I think that would be better for everybody.
Yeah, I'm kind of a purist. I like the All-Star race, but I still think that you need to have the Speed Week where you have it at Charlotte, and then throughout the week you do these little competitions like the Pit Crew Challenge and stuff like that. You put on a show for all the fans because when I was growing up, I was a kid, that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to go down there and I wanted to watch the All-Star race. I wanted to stay all week and watch the Coke 600, but I wanted to go. They had a thing in downtown Charlotte where it was a parade where they had the haulers and the drivers were there, all this stuff. And then one night they would do the Pit Crew Challenge. It was just a show, right? and it built up the hype for the race. But now we lost that. It's gone. And now it's just like, hey, here's a non-point race just because. And it's for $1 million, which it's been $1 million for 30 years. It's not that much. Make it $3 million. Make it $5 million. I think you're going to see a lot more interest in the race just because the drivers are going to be more interested in winning. $1 million nowadays is just kind of a pat in the back. We see dirt guys going out there and winning $1 million. So it's just, I think NASCAR needs to catch up with the times a little bit. Maybe listen to the fans for once. It's the same with Daytona. We lost speed weeks, and now nobody's interested in the Clash, and it's dead. And now we're going to other places like Bowman Gray, and it's just, I don't know.
They want to go to Brazil next year or something like that.
They're going this year. It's a couple weeks.
They're going to Brazil in a couple weeks. Well, no, they're going to Mexico City in a couple weeks.
Mexico City, not Brazil. Yeah. Yeah. It's.
I think that race could be fun. The road courses are pretty good usually, and I'm pretty sure they're racing. Unless they're racing at a different track. I'm pretty sure they're racing where the F1 the race is.
Yeah.
And the F1 track is pretty dope. Yeah, so I think it'll be really cool. Now, how they there's like the third sector of the F1 track. NASCAR fans probably watching. I just showed my open wheel brain there talking about sectors. Like the stadium section at the end of the lap. It's going to be interesting to see how the NASCAR cars navigate that because it's very tight.
Yeah.
It's like the triangle because you come out and then you come out of that and then you come right onto the home straight. So, it's very open. A lot of hard, heavy braking sections, some long straights, nice little section in the middle sector of the track. So, I think the Mexico City race would be pretty cool. Shout out paging IndyCar. Please have a race there. Your most popular driver is from Mexico City. Just saying, or is from Mexico. But all in all, I get what you're saying. You want the build up, and I know we're going to kind of talk about Daytona and with Indy coming up and that build up to the race. I would if they found a way to do something like that again. I think that'd be cool. It seemed like the All-Star race at Charlotte lost its lore at some point. I don't know when, but it just kind of seems that way.
Yeah, the old car was really bad at 1.5 mile racetracks. So then you're going to a 1.5 mile racetrack to do it. And again, it's not for much money and the drivers are just kind of over it. And then you had they were doing some weird stuff with gimmicks again, where like they're going to invert the field after so many laps. And then again, I'm a purist. Just give me a race. Like have the open where people qualify in and then do the actual
in like the good old days, they're saying they used to do it like it was like 2 or 3 different segments, like 20, 30 lap segments, and they would do something there that way.
Yeah, kind of. So they had stages basically, and then and this is like in the 2000s. Before that, it was just a race. You qualified in by winning poles, I think, and then you go out there and whoever did it, I think you could race your way in. There was an open race too, but then you had the stages eventually, and then they turned those stages into weird things, and it was just kind of random. And I don't know who they were trying to appeal to, but I think it more turned people off because nobody knew how the structure of the race was. Like you go in, it was just some weird stuff, and it was just like, I don't know. Just give me a race, and let's just be done with it.
Yeah, don't make two things complicated, or don't make things too complicated. It's racing at the end of the day. We want to see cars on track. At the end of the day, that's what we're here for. And sometimes you can get a little too. Sometimes you can just get a little too blind. It's what is it? You can't see the forest or through the trees or something like that. Yeah, and I feel like those are some aspects where NASCAR gets in its own way with some of those types of decisions that they make.
Yeah, and there was one of the All-Star races where they had this thing at the end. Ryan Blaney, last lap, is leading. Caution comes out. Okay? Every race in NASCAR, that race is over. You're on the final lap, it's over. Because it's the all-star race, it can end under yellow. So he didn't win the race. And so he takes his window net down thinking he's done. Well, then it became this whole thing where he's trying to put it back up. And he ended up, I believe, winning. But he's holding it with his hand. Like, dude, that's a safety issue. You can't be doing that. Like, just stick with the rules. If there's one lap to go and the yellow comes out, it's over. Like, I don't know. It's just stupid stuff like that has kind of ruined the All-Star race because it's just a gimmick, and it is. I get you want to try to do fun stuff. Like when we were at Bristol, they tried to put underglow on the cars, and it was just implemented awful by NASCAR. It could have been really cool, but that's when they tried moving the numbers to the rear quarter panel also, and they try new stuff, which fine. Here's what you do, NASCAR. Try out 200 more horsepower. Boom, done. I'm interested again. Yeah, it's, I don't know. The wrong people are in control of NASCAR.
Here we go. Here we are. Welcome to the Yell at Clouds podcast.
Yes. I'm gonna go drink my prune juice and after this show and take a nap. God, I'm getting old. It's kind of bullshit.
We're so washed, bro.
I know. All right, but back to the All-Star race. Obviously, Joey Logano had this race won, except for this whole Michael Waltrip throws the caution thing, which weird because, okay, he's throwing the caution just randomly. There was a huge fireworks show, and then he drops the flag on the track, and it's just like,
I didn't see that, but I heard about it. I was like, what are people talking about? And I heard he dropped the flag on the track.
Yeah, and it was just like, oh, this is embarrassing for the sport. Like, it was awful. What are we doing? But after the race, Joey Logano, he says he's pissed off. It's a gimmick. He doesn't like gimmicks. He's also won multiple championships because of the playoff system, which is a gimmick. I don't know. I don't think he has any. I don't think he can talk. He shouldn't have been. I think he was 17th in points last year, but somehow managed to be in the playoffs and win the championship. I don't know. He's not the one to cry about gimmicks.
That is fair, but say, listen, sometimes you just gotta be angry about stuff, and I would be.
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I would be mad too, but yeah, that you're right. He has won multiple championships off of gimmicks. The what was it? Or he just got his first win of the year. What, a couple weeks ago, right? At Texas.
Yep.
And there was an instant. The first thing I see on the line is like this stupid gimmick, the stupid playoff rule in NASCAR. The defending champion who's having a terrible year now can compete for a championship because of one random win. It's we could go on and on about things we don't like, but like it was
like his first top 5 of the season too, and it's his win, and it's just like, oh my god, it's like all the Penske cars, I think, except Blaney now have a win, and it's just like, how does Austin Cindric have a win? How does Josh Berry? Well, I like Josh Berry; he's a really good driver, but it's like, are these guys actually going to do anything in the playoffs? It's like, no, but the gimmick allows them to. Should a win secure you into the playoffs? I don't think so, but gimmicks.
Yeah, the Penske. We're going to talk a lot about Penske coming up here, but I agree. I get what you're saying. It's weird. Blaney doesn't have, or if I'm not mistaken, Blaney doesn't have a win yet, and he's the only one that consistently year after year actually is like good in the NASCAR group, and he's the one who can't get wins. It's wild. Except for the one here that he did actually not have a great season as the year he won the title. It's so weird how, which, listen, at the end of the day, up to right now in Ryan Blaney's career, if you had to say over under 0.5 championships that he should have won, you would probably say over and say he probably should have won one in all of this time. So the fact that as much as, just a random top point, but the fact that he does have one doesn't hurt me because he probably should have had one by now, with how good he was, other than the year that he actually won the title.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look to see if we use the Winston Cup points if he would have won one. But I mean, it's a lot of the guys like Chase Elliott probably shouldn't have won the championship the year he did. But one of the other years he should have won a championship, but he didn't. And it's just Kyle Busch's last championship. There's no way he should have won that. He was out for 6 weeks because he broke his leg. But he won the championship because, he got the wins and got points. And it's just I don't know.
Shout out to waivers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things that we talked about last year around this time.
Way too much last year at this time. I don't think we have to worry about that this year. So that's a good thing.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
So we kind of already talked about this a little bit, but the broadcast numbers for the All-Star race, under $2 million. They had nothing to compete against on Sunday night. Is there anything to save the All-Star race in your mind to make it normal viewership? People are excited to watch it.
I don't think so. I mean, you have to compare it to other regular weekly races to kind of gauge from there. I think there's just a lot of other stuff people are dialed into usually. Now, like you said, unfortunately for that Sunday, they really ran uncompeted. The only NBA game that day was a Game 7 in the afternoon. Indy qualifying was over by then. The only real sporting event that was taking place was the Panthers and Maple Leafs Game 7, which don't want to talk about it. Regardless, that was really the only sporting event that was happening during that time on Sunday. So I don't know. I think it's some certain things when it comes to NASCAR are still kind of, I guess, just not still, but just in general niche to the certain public viewing. And I think in this case, it probably is one of them. Maybe there's some way they can find a way to spark it, but for a viewership purpose, I don't know. Maybe it is just an unfortunate dead zone unless they make it a regular points race. Maybe I'm sure that would probably help a bit if hey, you're promoting all week that North Wilkesboro is coming and it's actually going to be for a points race instead of the All-Star race. I'm sure that would help. But outside of that, I don't really know. It's hard to imagine something.
Yeah, and I think Shane and I talked about it a little bit, maybe doing something with the Cars Tour, having their late models and putting the drivers in them and going out there and just, 30 late models or super stocks or whatever they're called, super late models. Maybe that'll bring some viewership, kind of like when they did Bristol Dirt, that grew a lot of fans just because, dirt racers watched it, stuff like that. It's something different. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe going back to Charlotte, adding a bigger purse, less gimmicky, maybe you'll get some, but at this point, it might be dead in the water and just time to move on. I hate to say it, but I don't know. No one's really interested anymore.
Why did people hate Bristol Dirt?
Because it's a gimmick.
Okay. Did people hate when the Truck Series did the race at Eldora too?
No, because it's the Truck Series. The ARCA Series has always had a dirt race. I believe it's Springfield. It's just the Cup Series is supposed to be the best drivers in the world, racing fast and doing all this stuff. And now we're at this point where we're doing these gimmicks. They're not the fastest cars anymore. The Xfinity Series is faster. It's just the cars aren't that hard to control. They have way too much downforce. It's lost the shine. You need to give them the highest horsepower, the hardest to handle car. Yeah, that's just what they need to get back to. Maybe someday.
That's fair. Yeah, maybe one day.
But yeah, it's just the gimmicky Bristol Dirt. I'll say this, the dirt races put on good shows. I think every year it was a decent race. But it's just Bristol used to be one of the best tracks on the schedule. And now we're covering it in dirt and racing cars there. I don't know. I would have been more interested if they had dirt late models and the drivers were in them. But this car's not made for dirt. It was just, I don't know. It was weird. Do it right or
That's
don't
fair.
do it at all.
So you're saying you would have been happier if they actually went to a dirt track, like if they would have went to Knoxville or something and did a race there.
I mean, honestly, if they would have put dirt over it and raced dirt late models, I would have been interested. But just the whole thing of using our asphalt car on dirt at Bristol just seems wrong.
That's fair. I don't hate that take.
Knoxville, I wouldn't hate. Knoxville's kind of a weird track where it's more of a sprint car track, so I don't know if that would be what I would want to watch.
Yeah, I was just thinking because the only other dirt race I know NASCAR's done is Eldora, and I know the trucks did Knoxville too, so I was just thinking off the top of my head.
Yeah, the trucks at Knoxville was awful. Was not a good show.
I can see it because of how flat it is.
Yeah, it was basically if you wanted to pass, you had to move somebody out of the way, and then the berm in the infield caused problems, and it's just it was weird. It didn't work. Eldora's got the banking to where you could carry some speed. They did the prelude there with Cup guys in late models, and it was pretty good.
Oh my god, that was so cool!
Yeah,
it was so cool.
Yep. So
this is like 50. That's like what 10 years ago?
A long time ago now. Yeah, it's probably 15 years. I mean, 2010-ish is my guess.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm glad you brought that up. That's, for people wondering where this random stick and ball guy talking NASCAR and racing here. Hey, I got some game, boys and girls. You'll see. But yeah, the prelude, man, I remember that. That was so damn cool. Like, I just didn't ever expect, because I was young, it's 07 or 08, I think it was. I'm only like 11 or 12. I didn't really realize that some of those guys drove on dirt like that. Like, I knew Tony Stewart did, obviously, but I didn't know like Kyle Busch was good at racing on dirt. It was crazy. And like all those other, that was one of the coolest things I remember. So if they did something like that again, that would be baller. But I mean,
2005, 2012.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would love to see that again. I mean, Jeff Gordon did it. Which is weird, but
and all the late models looked like, and all the late models outside of like a couple actually looked like the NASCARs.
Yeah,
like Gordon. I remember Gordon's.
Jobs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Good. Yeah, time. I would love to bring some of.
We didn't know how lucky we had it.
I know, right? Pay-per-view though, that was the only downside of it. Okay, well, I got nothing else to talk about North Wilkesboro. We got some news, but we're going to hold off on that because it's going to follow the rest of the show. So we're going to hop in the Coke 600. Longest race of this series, or the season. Sorry. Not really sure what to expect because we've had like these weird races where it's rain shortened, or the year before there's some issues with tires, stuff like that, and kind of a weird finish. But I think it's going to be a good show. We've kind of improved on these 1.5 mile races. I'm looking forward to it. I don't really know what else to say about that.
No, it should be good. I mean, that they've done a really good job with these 1.5 miles. They've even somewhat, in a very small way, they made Texas look decent lately.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about IndyCar. God, I wish IndyCar was back at Texas. Never thought I would say that after the few years there after COVID when the track got ruined. But yeah, I think the 1.5 miles usually bang. And it should cap off what should be a fun day of racing. And you're right, though. It has been weird where I think last year it was rain shortened. And wasn't it a couple years ago where they got pushed to Monday or something recent.
Yeah,
history.
So yeah, there's rain and there was the whole COVID year and then all that. So it's just been kind of we haven't had a full actual Coke 600 on Sunday after Indy type deal. Yeah,
hopefully everything gets their game off on Sunday. That's what we're hoping for.
I know. I've been watching the weather really closely for Indy because I will be attending. And it was starting off kind of looking rough for the daytime, and then it's slowly moved into clear skies, hopefully for race. So
It started
Ky-
early in the week. It was good, and then like a couple days ago, if you looked on certain spots, it looked like it was going to be very bad. But everything that I'm seeing, it should be good. Worst case scenario, it's like raining in the morning, but
Yep.
by like 10 o'clock, everything will be fine. Dry that puppy off.
Yeah, it was like 50% chance of rain, and now we're down to 15% just in the morning. So it's looking good. I think we'll be set. It's going to help Kyle Larson actually attempt the double. He might be able to attempt both races this year,
Yeah,
and hopefully not
sad.
have to worry about the waiver system. So it
That
was
was a
just
huge downer.
2 races rained too. That's the worst part. Like he made it to the Coke 600, just rained as he got there. But
I know. I felt
okay.
really bad for him because he tried,
He did.
and then the backlash that he got for, try the backlash that he got for being like, yeah, I'm gonna try to compete in a winning level, in a potentially winning car at the Indy 500, and people hated him for it, which sucked. But, oh well.
Yeah. He did good at Indy for being a rookie. He made some rookie mistakes, but I thought he did really well for his first race. And then yeah, he made it to Charlotte. Was ready to hop in the car when they were under caution for the rain, and just the race never went back. So I think he's got a good shot at both these races this weekend. We'll kind of get into Indy 500 a little bit more, but Hendrick Motorsports is always good at Charlotte. I mean, everybody's won there, I feel like. So I'm going to hop into betting here for the Coke 600. There's a couple of guys when I was watching, the reviews and stuff like that, always seem to be in the top 5, always battling for the win. And that was Bell, Reddick, and Byron. So looking at the odds, Byron, I think, is a little too low. I'm liking Christopher Bell to repeat, even though he'd have to do the full race this year. He's coming off of the win last week. I think he could ride some momentum here and possibly get it back to back. And Tyler Reddick, the last 2 years watching it, it's just like he should have won both races, I feel like. Him and Harvick did this weird thing 2 years ago where they got into each other and it kind of cost him some momentum. And then last year, just the rain took him out of it, but he was coming for that lead. So yeah, I'm on Bell plus 650 and Reddick plus 1,000. I know we haven't talked much. You got anybody that you're liking for an outright winner?
So NASCAR betting is not my biggest real realm of that. I wish I could phone a friend here and call up our good buddy Nick Brinks to give me some good loving, but I'll be cheering for. I'll be hoping that Larson does really well. I hope he finishes both races at the bare minimum. I know that's a thing just in general that it's been tough. Other than other than Stewart when he did it in 01.
Yeah. Kurt Busch.
I think the last.
I feel like.
I think the last guy that actually, like the only guy that's actually come close to doing both races was Busch, and he engine in the late Charlotte race, I believe, right?
Yep.
I think that's the.
Yeah, he didn't.
I think
finish,
it was that.
I
So,
believe.
So I hope that
right,
Larson
Stewart
finishes
did
both
it
races.
twice?
I hope I'm sure. There was one time he completed all 1,100 miles. I think that was 2001, because that was the year he was driving, and he was like really good at Indy too. Like he was in a Ganassi car. He was at front. He was in the first 100 laps. He was at the front, and then kind of faded as the day went on. I think he had a top 10 though, but then obviously, and that was the last time he ran it. I know Robbie Gordon did it a few times, but I don't think he ever came close to really. There was one year in 03 that he did it. Robbie sat front row at Indy, doing the double. But yeah, hopefully Larson does well. So I'll be cheering for that for sure. And that dope ass paint scheme he's got on both cars.
McLaren. Yeah. Stewart finished 6th at Indy, spun out on lap 2 in Charlotte, but still finished 3rd in the race. He started dead last also. So, man, that's hard to beat there. That's a 6th and 3rd.
Unless you win one of them, you know?
Yeah. You'd almost have to, and then at least finish top 10 in the other.
Which
Robbie
I
Gordon,
thought
he never did anything.
Sorry, go ahead. My bad. Yeah.
Oh no, Robbie Gordon just never did anything.
I was gonna mention too, like, say you do the double. If you're Larson, we're about to talk Indy 500. I'm not gonna pick him to win. If he qualified better, I think he would actually be a pretty live dog, because I think doing Indy and then how he kind of tore through the field multiple times at the Brickyard 400 last year. I think running both of those races, and he's kind of said how he learned how to like really be able to pass cars in both cars at that track. And I've really liked what I saw from him in practice the last week or two, and especially on the practice Monday. I just worry he might be starting a little too deep in the field. But and his car just isn't as good as it was last year. His car last year was awesome. This year it's not as good.
Yeah, he's struggling.
But I was thinking,
yeah,
it's really weird. It's flipped because like he was the best car of the McLarens last year, but his race he was okay. Well, no, I lied. Alex Rossi was. Alex Rossi had the best car of the McLarens. He was up there all day. He was in the fight at the end, and then Pato O'Ward, out of the main three, the fourth one obviously last year was throw a dart at the wall and see which driver it was every week for that fourth car. But Pato's car sucked all month, and he brought it to life at the 500 and almost won. Kyle Larson obviously made a few mistakes, but it's been flipped this year. All of a sudden, Pato's got the best car, and Larson's car, obviously he had the crash at the test, and then he dumped it on Fast Friday. He had a really good, his first effort in qualifying was bad, but his second one was really good. He almost at the time got in the Fast 12, and then a couple guys ran again and bumped him down. But I think I don't know why he didn't, but if he would have went again, I think he could have potentially competed to be closer. But I say all that to say, if he won, I always thought like if a guy doing the double won the 500, what would they do? Would they just not go to the 600 because of all of the ceremonial stuff that follows after the race? Obviously, you'd go to victory lane, but then you got the post race where you go around the track, you kiss the bricks, all of this stuff. But if you did that, you'd be late to the 600. Would they just not do it? Mm-hmm. But I think a guy like Larson would be like, no, I'm winning both of these. I'm going to victory lane. I'm drinking the milk. I'm hopping on the helicopter. I'm going to go win both. So it sucks that I don't think he's really going to be able to compete at Indy this year. But if he was at least able to win at Charlotte, that would be pretty damn cool.
Yeah, I think he'd speed run Indy. Like he would pull the car to the start finish line, hop out, like grab the closest milk he can find, drink it, kiss the bricks, run to the helicopter,
see you guys,
and just go to Charlotte. Yeah, like so with what you were saying, obviously he had the 2 spins, stuff like that. They said that he ran a high downforce for qualifying, which is not what you run at all in Indy. So he had more speed in the car. I think with the 2 spins that he had, I think McLaren was just, they're going for it. They have speed. We kind of saw it in the practices. I think they have a good shot to win this race. Does Larson? I'm not sure, because with the changes with the car, he says that he is on the edge all the time. Maybe we see him kind of hang out for a little bit, get used to it after, 250 miles, and then he starts really trying. I don't know. But I think they got fast cars and they have a chance to compete.
I agree. I think all of them are. Nolan Siegel, I just hope that he is able to kind of survive first shot in it. I'm sure he'll be kind of in more survive mode. I I do really like the fact that everything I've seen in practice from Larson in traffic, I think he's been really good. I do think I'm not just kind of poking at it when I say I do think Indy last year and the Brickyard 400, like I think he's kind of navigated like, okay, here's what I can get away with. Here's what I can't get away with when it comes to passing cars. Because it's different cars, but when you're the racing at the speedway is similar for both. You're not going to be in packs. It's going to be spread out. You got to set your runs up into corners. And I think he's learned a lot from that. But we'll see. We'll see. McLaren car that I like much, much more than him for Sunday. But in general, I'll be excited to see Kyle and what he can do at Charlotte, as well as the big one on Sunday. That's for sure.
Yeah. He's going to have a hard time beating Pillow. I will say that, if that's who you're liking. Yeah.
A lot of people will. We'll see, though.
Yeah.
A lot of people will.
Yeah, he's a favorite to win, too, is what kind of, I don't know. I guess the Penske guys are out because of the penalties, moving them to the back. So hold on. We're getting sidetracked. We're going to Indy. I'm going to finish my bets real quick. Top 5, again, Bell -110, Byron +110, Reddick +135. I think all three of those are bettable. They're always there in the top 5. Bubba Wallace, though, one of the fastest cars last year. If the rain didn't happen, I think he had a shot to win this. He was top 3, +425. It's bettable. I haven't made up my mind yet. I kind of want to see where he qualifies. Top 10, Bubba again. Ty Gibbs is another guy that I'm going to be watching a lot. He was top 3 last year. Also, Andy had hit the wall. The year before, he was running really well all race. Gets caught up in a late wreck. He runs really well here. I don't know why. Gibbs +110. Maybe wait after qualifying if it'll go up. But I think he was on the pole the year before, so maybe not. And then the only other thing I'm really looking at is top Toyota. I think you go Gibbs +1,000 or Bubba +1,300. Both are good odds. Okay, back to Indy, because I think we're more excited for Indy. Yeah. Award, obviously, favorite. I'm going to the Cubs game Monday. I thought about taking him with the Cubs and just seeing what a parlay would give me, and that would be my award bet.
I love that, honestly. That's fantastic.
Yeah. +500. I mean, those are still good odds, but I'm one of those guys that likes to win big. So, yeah, that's what I'm kind of leaning at right now in my head. We'll see. I have to have Indy bets, right? If you're going to be there, you got to do it. Yeah. Okay. Where were we, though? We were talking everything.
So, yeah, we were going a little all over the place. There's some stuff, it depends on what you want to kind of touch on. I figured since we're going to be doing my show after, we can give. I did prepare in my mind a long shot bet for the people. I figured I'd come prepared. I figured we would actually give legit predictions maybe on my show if you wanted. I know there was a couple other things about Indy you wanted to talk about and compare and contrast, and also probably touch on the disaster that happened over the weekend. As cool as this weekend was, this past weekend was, there was a bit of nastiness to it.
Yeah.
But I will throw this out. If I can throw out a long shot, the one that I would say that I like the most is Connor Daly at 36 to 1. I think he's got a really good car. He just missed out on the Fast 12. It reminds me a little bit 2 years ago. I did not have the balls to pick Joseph Newgarden. He qualified 13th. I really liked what he was doing all month. The year before, I picked Marcus Ericsson and just lit it out of a cannon when he won the race, even though they tried to rob him at the end.
Yeah.
They then proceeded to rob him the following year, and Joseph Newgarden won. But I was still mad at myself because I wanted to pick Newgarden, but I didn't. I got too cute. Newgarden just missed the Fast 12 that year. I don't think Daly's car is as good as what that was, but I do think that he's got a really good car. I love what they've done in practices, and I think that Juncos has been building. I think their oval stuff is good. Daly at the ovals last year when he got in that car were really good. He was awesome at Milwaukee at the end of last season. So I really do think that he's got a chance to be in the mix. And I think if you're looking a real long shot, I think that's a spicy one. And if you're there, you're cheering for the hometown boy. So listen, I think there's just a lot of good vibes if you place that bet. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what happened. So this is funny because I did write down some bets that I liked this morning, and everything's been killed. So you just said he was 36-1. He's now 25-1, which yeah, big jump.
People watching this show just laid the smack down. They were like, Connor Daly, let's ride, boys.
Yeah. Alex Palou was plus 1,000 or 10-1. He's now plus 550. So that got halved for some reason. I have Herta also. I don't even see him. He went down to 25-1. Jesus Christ. They're all over the place. I don't know what happened today.
I think they are. I think the Yanoku, oh my God, they re-inverted the field. The starting lineup is it's like borderline reverse grid. They re-inverted it like halfway through. They drew a number, they picked which row, and they just re-inverted the field from there. Like, remember when they did the COVID, during some of the COVID races, like they were like, all right, we're going to invert the top 20 for the race on Wednesday. That's what they did for the 500. And now the odds are all over the place.
Dude, that's weird.
But yeah, I'm excited. It's
so
one of the
Daily?
I think he's one that I'm very interested in and to see. I think just from a long shot perspective, there are some other guys that are like more favored that I would probably pick, that I am going to pick, but from a long shot perspective, I think he's the tastiest one.
I haven't watched 100% of the indie stuff this week. How's Rossi been looking?
He's been looking good. He had his initial qualifying run I thought wasn't great, but then all of a sudden when you compared it to all the other times that were out there, he just missed the Fast 12. His car during practices has been really good. There's been a lot of balance. I think the ECR cars are good, and I think he's the strongest one. And this dude always finds a way to be in the mix. Like he's got 3 straight top 5s, I believe. Last year his car was
a pretty big bet on him 2 years ago, and he was leading towards the end, and I don't remember what happened. It was like a pit penalty or something like that threw him back, and I was like, come on.
Yeah, the race 2 years ago was last year's race. The race 2 years ago too was all over the place because it just started popping off at the end. It was like, oh my God, here we go. And it was just chaos. But last year
Sato was leading for a while.
Yeah, last year he was in the mix and he had a really good car. He just didn't have enough at the end. And when you get into he ended up being the third guy in line. And when you end up being the third guy in line and the top 3 kind of break away, it's hard for that third car to get in the mix unless the lead car is slow enough to where you can try to be lucky and both of you pass them up on one straight. You
want them to get side by side.
Yeah.
Once that happens, then you can get a run.
So I definitely think he would not be somebody that you would be burning. You know, you're not just lighting money on fire if you put real hard-earned American bills on Alex Rossi. That's for sure.
I have a funny reason for why I like Rossi. It's because I'm a Valentino Rossi MotoGP racer fan, and I just was gonna watch Indy one year, and I was like, hey, this guy's last name's Rossi. Go Rossi, and he ran really well. So I there's a soft spot in my heart for him. I think I put money on him every year that I go, just because, when we went to I think it was COVID Iowa race, and he didn't do well. He didn't do well at all. But yeah, soft spot in my heart for Rossi.
Yeah, me too. My soft spot comes from the 2016 race when I picked him as a dark horse, and it was just out of left field. But I loved what they were doing. I felt like his car was coming along, and I was like, he's a live dog, and he won the damn thing. And it's crazy. It's one of those situations where it's like maybe he shouldn't have been the car to win it that year. But other years he definitely should have been, but didn't. It's how Indy is, man. It's crazy how that works. But yeah, I'm a huge Rossi fan as well. So I would be a happy boy if he was able to pull it off.
Yep. Okay, well, we're sitting at about 50 minutes into this show, so I'll get into one little thing that I wanted to talk about. And so you got the Indy 500. It's this mecca of motorsports racing. Where do you think it stands compared to, say, the Daytona 500?
I think so. I'm a racing guy. I have been my entire life. My dad got me into it. We went to a bunch. I've never been to an actual like points NASCAR race, but I've gone to the. I used to live in Florida. We went to the Bud Shootout, or the Busch Clash is what the Busch Clash, then the Bud Shootout. Now it's the Clash in the middle of the ocean or something. The Clash at the Bermuda Triangle, brought to you by Waste Management. So I'm a racing guy. So I've loved it all. But I'm an IndyCar fan. I'm an open wheel guy at heart, really, It's what I pay attention to the most when it comes to auto sports. I fell in love with Formula One about a decade ago, a little more than that, and followed that as well, too. But, like, in general, when it comes to the Indy 500 versus the Daytona 500, I think especially lately, over the last maybe 10 years or so. I mean, the Indy 500 has always been the bigger race, the one that people want to win more. But I do think there was a time period where the Daytona 500 felt as big, felt as important. And I understand what you're talking about too, where how they took speed weeks away. They kind of killed the build up to the race. They've killed they've killed some of the lore in a sense with it. And a part of me does believe, and I'm not hating on it, I just think that the way that those races have become so kind of random lately over the last X amount of years, I think that's hindered it a little bit. I'm probably on the lower end of that than some other people when it comes to like how super speedways are this massive crapshoot. I mean, I understand they are, but it doesn't bother me as much as it does someone like you who is a much bigger NASCAR just only fan than I am. But I get what you're saying. The pomp and circumstance is tenfold to what Daytona is. And I wish Daytona was just as big and felt as huge, but there really is nothing compared to waking up on Memorial Day, Sunday. You watch, if you're a Formula One fan, you watch Monaco. Hopefully this year it's fun because they've gimmicked it up a little bit. We'll see. Shout out to them for trying to be interesting. But regardless, the Indy 500, the build up to the pre-race, everything that goes with it. I've never gone. I hope to one day go. It's just one of the coolest things to watch and be a part of. And you're right in the fact that like no other race really feels that way. There's no build up to that, to the moment that everything begins the way that Indy is. It's crazy. It's so odd. It's an oddity. It's a randomness, but it is what it is. It's been like that for such a long time, and it's hard to describe too. And I've just been a fan of it for so long, and nothing tops it, man. It really doesn't.
Yeah. So the thing about NASCAR with like the Daytona 500 is, back in the 90s, you had these guys building these cars that were just fast. But at Daytona, you had to be fast and you had to be able to handle well also. And it's not like today where they're on rails. Like, they're slower. They got tons of downforce. You're in a pack. It doesn't really matter. It's just where you're at the end of the race, right? But back then, it was like you saw Dale Earnhardt always competing because he knew how to build a fast car and handle Daytona. And they've just kind of slowly taken that away from the teams. And now we're buying, we're IndyCar where they buy the chassis and you're not allowed to modify parts and stuff like that. You don't have these guys building cars in their garage anymore and doing all these tricks. Like Rick Mass said that he had a button that he could press in his center console that would put the spoiler flat. They had some like air mechanism. Just weird stuff like that. We don't have that anymore. Guys running special bolts that would allow air into the intake, stuff like that, just to get that little extra. But that's what we saw. But again, you're not allowed to do anything anymore. It's just basically you buy the car, you assemble it, and you go onto the track. So I don't know if there is a place for speed weeks, but I think not having that buildup kills it. Just kills the Daytona 500. Like, where you're excited because, hey, my series is back. I get to watch racing again. But Indy 500, man, you get to watch these guys go out for 2 weeks and just try to run as fast as possible and on the edge. And basically, there's this buildup to it. And we already see it this year where it's like, these cars are hard to handle. And you see guys like Kyle Larson and them go out there, heard a wreck. And so it's like, oh man, these guys are on the edge. And now we're going to go race and we're going to start 3 wide through the pack this Sunday. Like, I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
This is the most I can remember in 25 years now. The first Indy 500 I can ever remember watching with my dad was Juan Montoya winning in the Chip Ganassi's "Y'all Must Have Forgot" moment, coming over and Juan Montoya getting it done in 2000, and then Team Penske coming back and said, "Well, how about this?" in the next 3 years after that. So that was my beginning of IndyCar, the early 2000s. And in 25 years of watching this sport, I can never remember a year where it was this difficult to get a gauge on.
Oh, we lost.
For drivers and top teams. Oh, you got me?
Yeah, you're back. Yep, you're back. You went out for like
Restream.
A second or two.
Oh, you silly Restream, you silly goose. But I was saying, like, there's in 25 years, I've never seen from teams at all level. Now, usually sometimes you'll see some of the younger drivers or the lower end teams have issues, but every level of cars, like we saw Scott McLaughlin, who was easily the fastest car on site, absolutely binned it and destroyed the car on Sunday morning. Just absolutely destroyed it. We saw the Colton Herta, who I thought was a dark horse to compete in qualifying, though Andretti kind of all of a sudden just died over the weekend. Their cars I'm talking about, because they were nowhere other than the Ericsson car, other than Marcus Ericsson, none of them were really at all good in qualifying. But Herta just loses it. The hybrid, which if you talk to IndyCar fans, it's a very controversial thing because the hybrid has more or less kind of ruined the road and street courses. Now, as an IndyCar fan, I have always talked about some of the true regular some of these street races have it really makes the IndyCar series look amateur because the tracks are like undrivable. Like, they're going to go to Detroit next week. I despise that racetrack. Like, Belle Isle was fine. I didn't like it, but it was much better than this stupid gimmick that they have in Detroit. Like Long Beach, great racetrack.
Was it Nashville or something a couple of years ago?
Oh my God, that was the worst one. It like those tracks
everywhere.
Those tracks made the series look like amateurs because you couldn't go into these it was these long straights with heavy 90-degree turns. Like, what do you think's going to happen? Yep. And it just made the series look amateurish. But the hybrid system, in a sense, has nerfed the racing on the road and street courses. But on the ovals, last year, outside of Iowa. We won't talk about Iowa because NASCAR ruined Iowa. I'm sorry. I'm just going to throw that
They
out
did.
there.
They did.
Huh? Uh,
Oh, they ruined
I'm
that
glad
track.
I'm glad that they're there, but they ruined the track. And Iowa was a gem, and now it's not a gem, and I'm mad about
Yeah.
it. Milwaukee and Nashville and Gateway were awesome. All three races, especially the races at Milwaukee. And God, it was so good to see. I went to Nashville and saw the races there multiple times in my youth. Great track, great place, great facilities. Really cool to see IndyCar back there. Was so happy when the big city music Grand Prix was basically shit canned. And Nashville, they like when they said they were going back to the Oval, I like collapsed. I was like, oh my God, I've been praying for this day. But yeah, Milwaukee was sensational. Nashville was great. Now we got it at Indy with the hybrid. I think it's going to be awesome. The conditions, Sunday could be the coldest race in like 20 years.
Yeah. It's getting
On
closer to
race day.
70 though.
Yeah, it's starting to go. It like a
It was
couple
in the
days ago.
50s.
Yeah, it was.
Like,
It was wild.
I was looking, I'm like, man, 56. Like, oh man, this is gonna be rough. Like, I was like burnt to a crisp the last 2 times I went, and this time I'm like, I'm gonna be wearing a winter jacket. But I think last I looked it was like 68 or 69.
Yeah.
So,
But the conditions with the like on Saturday, or on Friday and Saturday when they got into Fast Friday, when they put the extra boost on for qualifying, it was 30-mile-an-hour winds that were gusting, and it was hot as hell. And it was just so crazy to see all the drivers having to struggle with that. And it was insane. And at the end of the day, after all of that, you get a guy who's never raced on an oval, on a team in their first year in IndyCar that has had some massive struggles, that on Tuesday, as a team, they ran like 20 total laps. And we all pegged them to be bumped, but nope. Robert Schwartzman is on pole. One of the coolest.
Yep.
It was one of the coolest. It's crazy that after all this time, this place that place still surprises me. And Sunday watching that was awesome.
yeah. He did a little interview with Jeff Gluck. He's a NASCAR writer and podcast guy. It was a really good interview. I enjoyed it. So it's cool to see stuff like that. You know, just the underdog, I guess, as you would call it, goes out there, wins pole. I hope he does well. Another indie guy that I think everybody should go and follow on TikTok is Christian Rasmussen. Is that right? Rasmussen?
Yeah. He races Fred Carpenter Racing, number 21 car. He was in the 33 last year. He's in the 21 Java House entry.
Dude, his social media person, it's on point. Hilarious. I stumbled upon that, I think, last night or the night before, and like, so good. But yeah, I am looking so forward to Indy this weekend. Like I said, I've been packing, getting ready. We're doing the tour for the museum there Saturday, and gonna be around. Yeah, I'm
jealous.
And I've never been to the museum, so I'm excited for that.
I went once. The one time I've been to the track was a long time ago, and I went to the museum. It was really cool.
Apparently, they just redid it. It's all redone, brand new stuff. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all that stuff is new. Like, they redid the entire thing. I've seen video tours. It looks so awesome. Like,
yeah,
it was already cool. My God. And they've even got they had one before, but they redid like the NASCAR section also. So yeah, I can only imagine how cool it is. If I ever get the chance to go up there, like that's, even if it's not for the race, I need to go see the museum again because looks so cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. But we're a little over an hour. I think we're gonna wrap this show up, and we're gonna do your show. So
yeah,
if you want to tell everybody where to go watch that.
So we'll be on my Facebook, Joe the Show Winkle. We'll be on the For Frequency's Sake YouTube channel as well as the Facebook channel. So that's the one that's already got this on. So we'll be back with that here momentarily. And yeah, we're going to talk. We'll go more in depth into predictions for Indy and talk about some stuff there. Can't wait for it, and I'm ready to go. What a weekend! We're
Yeah.
going very fast, and we're turning very left all weekend. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. We didn't even get to the Penske penalties, so we're going to talk about that over there too. So,
Oh yeah, I'll loft it up for us to chat about.
yeah. All right. See you guys next week.